All right, I think you got it going after some technical difficulties and such. We are live. Welcome into the Pacers live post-game show here on Fieldhouse Files. Appreciate everyone joining me here from Paycom Center as the Pacers get it done tonight. 111 to 110. They led for just 0.3 seconds, and once again, Tyrese Haliburton does it again. I think the new tagline for this Pacers team is it's not over until zero gets the ball. Instead of zero hits the clock, as Haliburton alluded to several times during his post-game presser that just wrapped up here, and I posted that here at Fieldhouse Files and the YouTube page as well. But until Tyrese gets it, the game is not over, and it's a game they really should not have been in. When you consider the fact they turned it over 25 times. On the other side, OKC gave it away just 7 times for 4 points. Pacers, get this, so among those 25 turnovers, it resulted in just 11 points for this OKC team. A big whiff, a big missed opportunity for the Thunder when you consider the number of times that the Pacers turned the basketball over, struggled to hold on to it, and that's an issue that usually this team is not dealing with, and they talked about it pregame. We heard Rick talk about it yesterday during media day, and yet every team seemingly still has trouble with this incredible Thunder defense that we have seen all season long. And so what a wild series of events, and with 0.3 seconds, that's all this Pacers team needed. They're now 8-1 this postseason in the clutch. Haliburton with his 4th game winner. He's done it in every single series, and in the 4th consecutive series, the Pacers have taken game 1. The last 3 have all been on the road as they're able to get it done tonight just by 1 point, 111 to 110. And at this point, it's beginning to feel like this is a team of destiny, right? That this team is meant to win this series. They've had so many things break their way. They've had so many chances and win games that they should not have when they've trailed by 20 and 19. Tonight, it was a 15-point hole in the 4th quarter that they erased, and then by committee came back, and they wasted, ultimately, the Thunder did, a 38-point performance by Gilgeous-Alexander. I thought free throws were going to be costly for the Pacers as they went 15 of 21 at the line. Free throws were basically a wash, so that didn't matter a ton. 21 for the Pacers attempts, 24 for the OKC Thunder. Lou Dort had a phenomenal game, both defensively and knocking down 5 3-pointers. Now, I have only about 20 minutes here before the final call for the last media shuttle here, so I'll get to as many questions and comments as I can before then, and then I'll have a lot more coverage for you here at fieldhousefiles.com and my page. Here's a quick viewpoint, by the way. Maybe. As we look around here at the Paycom Center. Quick viewpoint. I'm sitting at the main scorers table here, right? And meanwhile, my seat for the game was up here, but on the other side. But no qualms. I'm here, able to do my job, and then going to continue to do my job to my best of my abilities, just like I have for the last 13 years. Mr. Compton, let's get the show on the road. Here we are. I wasn't quite sure how it's going to work. I know it's probably a little bit awkward because it's both late and on a time crunch, but I've done it for every game, just about every game. There was the one in Cleveland, game 1, I missed because I was covering the Fever and Caitlin Clark back at Iowa. But we do this after every single game, and that's going to continue here no matter the timing. So appreciate all those who stayed up or those who are watching or listening the following morning. I am staying in OKC till game 2. Absolutely. Not going anywhere. So I'm here for about 6 nights, then return to Indianapolis for games 3 and 4, and almost certainly will be back here for game 5, given the fact that the Pacers just took game 1. And Tyrese talking post-game and saying, hey, look, this is the best team in the NBA, and acknowledging that and how difficult it is to win. And the fact that this OKC team had not lost a home game to an Eastern Conference team since last season. They had only lost once to an East team. That was on January 8th, I think, to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they had been a dominant team against the East. They had been a dominant team at home. I think they were 8-1 in their home building throughout this postseason run to the finals. And now they let one slip away. And I didn't like very early on to start this one, Mark Daigneault making a change to the starting lineup, adapting to the Pacers rather than leaning into what they do. I thought that was Probably not the greatest idea there. We'll see after watching it back and going into game 2, should they stick with it here. But before Haliburton shot, by the way, how about the defense of Andrew Nembhard guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander by himself, getting the stop, a rare miss for SGA, who finished 14 of 30, 50% or so for the night, 38 points to lead all scorers in this one. And again, for OKC, it's just got to feel like a wasted opportunity. It's got to feel like a wasted performance there for the league's MVP. Yeah, I did ask Carlisle a question post-game. Yep, that was the second question. Oddly, though, did not get the mic for any of the 3 players. So that was a little bit odd, should I say. Leslie's excited. So is Brandon. Any of you guys go to the viewing party back at home? Let me know. Congrats on getting credentialed. When did you get the green light? Got it, I don't know, midweek last week. And it's because it's an NBA event run by the NBA. Flamekeepers, you don't beat the Pacers. They just sometimes run out of time. That could perhaps be another tagline. I get it. But I think the best one remains, it's not over until 0 gets the ball rather than 0 hits the clock. And by the way, it could not have been a better marketing campaign for him tonight, right? Debuts, the new Hallie ones, part of Puma, who he signed with just 8 months ago. And to have him wear them, oddly, it was pink. Didn't get a chance to ask why, but debuted here tonight. And, I mean, throw this in a commercial. It does not get any better than that for both him, for the brand. And, of course, then he leaned into it post-game, both putting the shoes on the post-game table and then also tweeting, of course, it must have been the shoes. I mean, it's just an incredible rollout, both by Ty and by Puma as well. Turnovers were just crazy. Yeah, absolutely. This team does not do that. They turned it over twice as many times as they have per game throughout this postseason. And that's what was so surprising about it, is we're not used to that by any means. And it was the way in which they were turning it over and the poor decisions that they were making. I thought one of them, it was TJ McConnell trying to pass it in, and I think it was Jalen Williams. It was almost leading him to a layup at the other end. There were just countless mistakes. Even Ty said post-game he made some trash turnovers as well. The team just really struggled with that throughout this game. Miles Turner had so many. He had, 6? Obi Toppin had 3 of, I think, their first 8. There was not much very good about that first quarter, but you go back to it, and what I kept thinking is they should be down 20. Then you get to halftime, and it wasn't that bad, right? They were only down by, hard math here, 12 at halftime. Felt like it should be 20, 25. Third quarter, 25. But no, they just trailed by 15 in that fourth quarter, used a 12-2 run to get it back close again, then got to within 3. I think it was like 106, 103 there late. There was that free throw issue. There was that challenge late by Rick Carlisle. I'm surprised he was not successful in that challenge, given the fact that Siakam clearly took a shoulder. I think it was by Kassan Wallace, if I remember correctly. But my goodness, just quite a series of events. But to win this game, when they turned it over more in the first half than they had all season long, they almost had as many turnovers, 19, as they did for their season high or playoff high for turnovers in the total game, which was 20 against the New York Knicks. And then they came back and won. Does Pritchard talk to Carlisle after every game? I don't know that. I would assume so when he's around. He was there tonight. I gave him a handshake after the game. I saw Mel Raines, the CEO of Pacers Sports and Entertainment, another executive. Joey talked with Rachel Simon, Sarah Simon, and Steve as they were walking out of the arena, just riding high. It was Rachel Simon's birthday here this week. It's Eddie White's birthday here today as well. I don't think they're getting much sleep tonight because they were feeling good about this Pacers win. I thought it was notable that the message to the team was not get too high after this moment. It was on to the next game, was essentially that message. And that rings true. That's what they've talked about throughout much of the season, that, yeah, it can be one game or whatever. But that's where they're at. With a 1-0 lead, they've already done and gotten what they needed to do, I believe, on this business trip, and that was at least one of the 2 games. And so now they're sitting pretty. If you can get both of them, there you go. But either way, you're heading back home with 1 win with a chance to then take care of business on your home floor, where the Pacers have done very, very well. Although game 3s, they have not done so well. MK, the team does not quit. Outscored them 35-25 in the fourth quarter. Yep, that's right, and I love everything about it. She says, except the terms and missed free throws. You're exactly right. Absolutely. Greg, let the good times roll. There you go. Yeah, the Pacers are on a hell of a roll right now. Absolutely. And to see the community come together, to see the giveaway yesterday, to see dozens of fans outside the team store, to see an active Twitter feed. Like, normally it's not very active. Pacer fans quiet or watching casually or whatever. No, y'all are making your noise and leaving comments and questions and all kinds of things. So that has been phenomenal to watch, and an increased level of commitment. Hope shutting out the lights maybe. Either way, we got about 12 minutes here before I gotta wrap up here. Just Jules, the announcer, said something about having a team having 36 turnovers and winning the championship. That was Portland back in 1975, I believe it is. Yeah, that was Mike Breen during the game talking about it. Absolutely. Bruce, in this world, nothing is certain except death taxes and Hallie game winners. Yeah, it's an incredible run he's on, really, like Greg said earlier, just specifically with Tyrese, right? To hear all that negativity, that actually fuels him. And see, they absolutely saw the odds where the Pacers were plus 700 to win the series and were 9.5-point underdogs in this game one. I don't get why they were, other than a lot of people aren't familiar as much with the Pacers. That's even true in the post-game press conference. We've been seeing this for the last several months. This team does not quit. For whatever reason, they possess that trait that they just rally around each other. Like, how could they not get terribly frustrated and pissed off and such after the first quarter when they played like trash, to use Haliburton's word? Then you get to halftime, you're down 12. You still could easily get down on yourselves, and instead they take it up another notch and again are fueled off of all that. What else? When you spoke to Pacers Sports Entertainment, did you ask why no credential for regular season? No, I did not, Mr. Compton. Not the time and place for that. Your microphone is crackling a lot. Is it really? It could be my internet connection. I'm having to use my phone because the internet in this building not doing so well. So hopefully the audio is a little bit better. Let me know here in the comments. But yes, I am just using computer mic. That's where I miss my mic setup back home. Hallie tweeted right after, must have been the shoes. Puma cannot be more pleased. Absolutely. He's leaning into it. He's getting their money's worth, and so are they. Good. Glad you have no cracking. Appreciate that on the comments. I know it doesn't sound ideal, but it's definitely better than nothing, and I know so many of you probably wanted me to hop on here and talk about this victory for as long as I can here. Wild win. Vegas has Pacers plus 11.5. Wow. Double digits again. That's unreal. That just tells you that the money is saying Pacers aren't going to win 2 games. That's what the money is telling Vegas, and so they are setting the line. Hallie needs to get most clutch playoff player award. Yeah, absolutely. During the regular season, wasn't it Jalen Brunson who got it? Although I thought Tyrese had a very good chance with it. The trouble was his first couple, 2-3 months of the season weren't very good. Looks like things could get chippy between Mathurin and Hartenstein as series go. Perhaps. Mathurin has had something with some other player in all the series, right? Yeah, was it Bobby Portis in round 1, I want to say? Gary Trent Jr. Oh, no, it was Gary Trent Jr. and then DeAndre Hunter. I don't know who was at last series. Rick has put on a master class of coaching. Let's not forget Nembhard. So many big shots and handles, critical moments. Agreed to both of those, Greg. Absolutely. I was going to write here during this series about how Rick has transformed this franchise, and I think it's been done in so many different ways, including, I think, his poise and how they handle things is a direct reflection of him. He does not allow them to get too overly hyped or excited. He does allow for them to get confident and has empowered that confidence. For example, how many coaches and teams need a timeout there in the final, whatever it was, 10 seconds after the rebound to reset and get a final play? Not the Pacers. They prefer not to. They prefer to have that advantage when the defense isn't set, when they can just put the ball in Haliburton's hands and trust that either he'll look to get a shot or he'll make the better pass ultimately. But yeah, you're totally right about that, Rick. And then Nembhard as well. I mean, he got that stop late on SGA. You're never going to hold Gilgeous-Alexander down. You're not. So I've said on radio shows countless times this week, if you can keep him below that 40 mark, have him average about 35 points per game in this series, you're feeling good. So 38 in this one. I think that's just about right. DMB, great coverage as always. Congratulations on climbing the Substack charts. Appreciate Indy coverage. Thank you. That actually meant a lot to me because it's hard to break through, especially there on Substack, where sports is not a primary focus of that whole outlet, and also doesn't do very well for whatever reason ranking on Google. So I don't get a lot of help boosting it there. So the fact that I was nearly top 10 in this my Substack and my Fieldhouse files rising over the last month or so is an incredible honor. So I appreciate that. I'm not one to put that out very often, but given what I've been through this season, I was like, shit, I'm just posting. Why the hell not? Shaq is crying all the way home. What, did I miss something? What'd Shaq say? MK Sinks need game plan for Dort better. Absolute dog for OKC. Created a lot of problems for sure. For a while there, you had Dorcher Island, right? He was so incredible. The offensive end, knocking down those 3-pointers, 5 of them, and then defensively, just difficult. No one's going to talk about it because he made that game-winning jumper, but Haliburton only had 14 points. I expect that probably to be the norm in this series, to average around 20 points per game. He might explode for a little higher than that, but the telltale point on this is on the night when the Pacers did not generally rebound it well in that first half, they were outstanding in the second half, especially after the way in which that first half went. On the glass, the Pacers in that second half, 28-17. And they had 3 players with double-digit rebounding. Nesmith leading the way with 12, and then Siakam and Haliburton with 10 each. Just 6 assists for Tyrese, but you also got 6 from Nembhard, which was huge. Again, like Greg talked about earlier, both ends of the floor, what they were able to do. Lindy, you're welcome. Happy to do this. So many of you have joined me throughout every post-game show, so I had to come on here. Doesn't matter that I'm on the road and such. Is Candace Buckner here? Not that I have seen, no. What's for dinner? Random question. I don't know because I have not had it yet. We need to get game 2 on Sunday, Kumono says. If the Pacers can limit turnovers, shoot as well, they can do it. For sure. I mean, it comes down to that turnover battle. And they just got sped up. They were played outside themselves, got a little antsy. That'll happen in a playoff game, especially when they have not experienced that before. But to do it at the rate they did was just bizarre, right? At one point, I think they had 15 turnovers to 12 made field goals like 20 minutes into the game. That's where it began to get concerning. Real talk, this series will be determined by OKC's points off turnovers compared to Pacers' corner threes. Yeah, the Thunder give up a lot of corner threes. The Pacers shoot it at a high clip there. So that is a telltale point. You're absolutely right. And the fact that the Thunder only scored less than half a point per turnover is concerning if you're on the Thunder side of things. There was a Fever game. Maybe it was the first one. Caitlin was out there. And I think they had 16 turnovers that led to like 32 points. That's more so what you expect, especially a team like the Thunder. Lindy, how's the weather? It's fine. I haven't been outside much, so it hadn't mattered too much. But today was about 75, sunny. Yesterday, a little bit rainy. Eddie says I'm wired right now. Yeah, you are. I believe so. I think a lot of viewers have to be, right? You see the highs and lows of a team, and then I'm sure those in Indy in particular, whether you're celebrating that moment or you're at the watch party or you're watching with friends and family, like how can you sleep after that? I totally get it. How many Pacer fans would I say they were in attendance? Very hard to say. Very hard to say. I would say the one group I did notice was the Pacers Sports and Entertainment employees that were flown out here by owner Herb Simon. They were up in, I think, section 314 or so. And Ty mentioned at some points hearing various fans, but I don't have a good guess, but it'd probably be like 500 or so at most. It's cool to see how the city rallying around the team. Tweeter Fiji says, I'm in Dallas. Wish I was back in Indy. Love the videos of fans back in Indy. Cool. Appreciate that. That's a cool note. Yeah, in Dallas following this team. And Rick Carlisle. How about Mike Breen saying timeout Dallas, meaning the Pacers there. Nice suit. Only critique I have is the gray on the gray tie. Still solid. Is gray on gray tie? No, this is blue. I don't know if you can see it because all the lighting. This is blue. This is gray. And this is navy. So I think I handled it quite well, Eddie. Come on now. Lindy, or what do you say? Been watching because it heads my way. It goes through Oklahoma. Oh, weather. There you go. Yeah, no issues from our standpoint from weather. The Pacers certainly did. They got here a day earlier than I did. And so they dealt with those thunderstorms. Ultimately had to land at Tulsa, then went underneath the storm and around. So certainly cost them money, fuel, and time. It took them twice as long, about 5 hours in total to get here, but no really other concern with all of that. And yes, the Pacers have tomorrow off. I'm sure they'll review film, get together for breakfast and such, but no mandatory media availability or practice time that we are allowed at. Game 2 line, 11.5. Yeah, MK Sings. That's rather high, I believe, especially for a finals game. My goodness. I don't like too many days before games. I like the Pacers' Knicks schedule. I do prefer more of a breather. I don't know if I need 2 days between every game, but certainly when it switches cities. But I do like the fact, look, coming up on Friday, which we're already here at, you're going to have a day to talk about this game. Then you'll have another day on Saturday to preview what's to come on Sunday. I like that, and it gives these players the most rest. So at the most important time in the season, you're getting that rest, which is fantastic. Shaq basically said OKC would sweep the series. Okay, I missed all that. Gotcha. There's a Shaq and a fool, I guess, as some of you referenced. Just a couple more, and then I have to get out of here to catch the bus. Were there any celebrities or former players in attendance? None that I saw. The crowd was incredible. Game ops could have been better. Nobody to note that was sitting in the stands or courtside at all. Pacers will absolutely top all that. Will I be flying back to Indy for game? Oh, you will be flying. We'll be flying to Indy for game 4. Hope to see you there. I do too. Please say hi if you see me. Hope next game Pacers win by 10 because these close games cause a lot of anxiety. I get that. Gray tie on the gray shirt. It's not a gray shirt. This is a baby blue shirt. So you're probably just not seeing it clear very well. But this is a baby blue shirt, which matches the baby blue pinstripes, Eddie. Come on, my guy. All right, couple more. Yeah, Lindy, thank you. Suit us correct colors. Exactly. Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks for jumping on here. All right, my timer is going off. I got to head out of here to catch that bus. Appreciate everyone jumping on. Sorry it was shorter than usual. I have a post-game story at fieldhousefiles.com and a lot more to come over the next couple of days leading up to Game 2 coming up Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Once again, full coverage at fieldhousefiles.com. I'll post this as well to the Fieldhouse Files podcast after the Pacers get the win 111-110 to take the 1-0 series lead, just like in series 1, 2, and 3. Now in the finals, it's series 4. Reporting from Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, I'm Scott Agness of fieldhousefiles.com. I will talk to you all again soon. Have a great night, everyone.